Now, top 25, Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, Michigan, whatever order you want to put them in. Oklahoma State is 7 or 8. TCU 13 or 15. Congratulations, and I owe UCLA an apology. I did not think they would win this weekend. I was wrong. They were the better team. Utah was good, but UCLA 11 and 12. Mississippi State moves up 6 and 7 in both polls. K-State, KU, Cincinnati with a tough one with Gary Bohannon in South Florida, USF if they win. Texas 23 or 24. Baylor unranked or 23. Brigham Young out of both. Kentucky drops 9 after the loss to South Carolina. Utah drops 8 or 9, depending on which poll. That's kind of a summary of the top 25.
Yeah, I was surprised. We all owe UCLA an apology. They proved something this week, and Chip Kelly over his career has proven when he's got a quarterback, you don't want to mess with them, man.
But they have transfers on defense that are making them. He gave up some points, but they do seem to have much more oomph to them on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I kind of was leaning towards the fact that Chip Kelly might have been past his prime, but maybe not. And they still got a long way to go. But yeah, it's impressive that they are where they are right now.
Yeah, I immediately noticed that you had who was that? Kentucky and Mississippi State just basically swapped places.
Yeah, that's that bubble. That's that SEC bubble.
That SEC bubble. I know SEC fans, chill out. A lot of good teams, best conference, all that stuff. I think the Big 12 is very entertaining this year, but there is a bubble that exists with these top 25 rankings. That's why it's always a talking point for people every single week. You just kind of see how the rankings are massaged. But hey, good win for Mississippi State.
Back-to-back wins.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not knocking them moving up. It's just funny kind of how it works sometimes. But yeah, I think UCLA proved a lot to a lot of people. I think if you watch them. They're a super talented team. Like not only DTR quarterback, you got Charbonnet at running back. I mean, they've got some players, and I remember watching them a bit last year, and it never could all just gel together. And this year, started to hear a little bit of hype about them, and the players ring familiar. Like, okay, yeah, they got some of their stars back, and Chip Kelly, like, can he find some of that magic? And they're not just doing it by blowing people out of the water, like you said, but they're more of a complete team. But yeah, they're no doubt legit, and that was impressive to beat Utah. The other night, I picked Utah. That was the game that I got wrong, certainly, and I just felt like Utah might be a little nastier, a little more physical, kind of like we've known them to be, and that just wasn't necessarily the case. So I think that was a great test for the Bruins to pass and to show a little not only finesse but a little toughness as well. And yeah, I think everybody's got to pay attention to them moving forward. And all of a sudden, it makes UCLA, USC potentially really fun eventually, and some of the rest of the Pac-12 race, which is kind of a tight-knit cluster as well. The SEC's what it is and what it's always going to be. The Big 12, like we've mentioned, is highly competitive, but the Pac-12's got a good little race going on itself.
They have Oregon in 2 weeks and then USC towards the end of the year on the 19th. But outside of that, they got Stanford, Arizona State, Arizona, and California left on there.
Let me put Oregon and UCLA and USC have given, and Utah's in that conversation in the top 25, have given the Pac-12. They needed that. They needed some in the conversation.
2 of those teams are leaving.
I watched quite a bit of the USC game with Washington State, with Caleb Williams and all the weapons he has. Very entertaining game. Now, go to the, not Chris Felica, but Brett McMurphy on the teams who have been ranked. Here's Brett McMurphy. In the last 2 weeks, Kansas and now Illinois ranked in the top 25, ending the longest Power 5 droughts, the current longest droughts since the AP poll. Now, Rutgers from 2012 has remained unranked. Oregon State, I thought maybe they tapped on that door. No, since 2013. And Vanderbilt. Those now are the longest droughts of not being ranked among FBS schools since in the last 10 years. And so Kansas and Illinois ended those droughts. Now, bangers this weekend. Penn State, Michigan, unbeatens. Alabama, Tennessee,
easily
unbeatens.
The biggest threat that Michigan's faced so far. Yeah. Like they played nobody, but
Bama, Tennessee, Syracuse, and NC State remain unbeaten. Mississippi Mississippi State, Kentucky, USC, and Utah. Utah, of course, has a couple of losses, but those are some of the bangers. Now, Chris Felica, ESPN, Saturday, for the second time in college football history, there are 3 matchups of teams 5-0 or better on the same day. The ones I mentioned, Penn State, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma State at TCU. Now, there's one more note that he adds to this. The last time, Paul, this is back when you and I could enjoy college football. In 1993, Florida State beat Virginia. Nebraska beat Kansas State. Auburn beat Florida. Those were all 3 games. Everybody was unbeaten. It's been since 1993, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's
long, long time ago. There's some really good bangers, though.
Almost 30 years ago.
Clemson, Florida State could be interesting. Florida State after that disastrous ending to NC State. Arkansas, Brigham Young, 2 teams that need a win. And then also LSU, Florida, some good ones, names in the SEC, 2 teams, again, that need a win.